Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be what I read in June. June was a really good reading month for me. I read 10 books, which I was really happy about. And a lot of them I read on my Kindle, so I'm just going to pop a photo up of the cover, either to my left or right. Let's get into it. I also got some Starbucks. If you're wondering what I got a grande iced caramel macchiato with vanilla cold foam. I just forget how sweet caramel macchiatos are though. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the 10 books that I read in June. I wrote down like every book. I'm trying to be more organized for my like reading wrap-up videos. So I wrote down every book and then like my thoughts on it in order. So I'm going to go in order of like when I read them. Meet Me at the Lake. I'm going to link down below the video where I read this because I vlogged it. I read this in my Brother Picks My TBR video. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go watch that video. This book is about Fern and Will, and they had like the best day ever 10 years ago, and they really hit it off, but they were in different relationships, or in the space to like have a relationship right then. So they decided that in a year they would meet again at Fern's mom's lake house, and Fern showed up and Will didn't come. So it's 9 years after then, or 10 years after like they first met, and Fern is working at her mom's lake house, and none other than Will shows up. And that's all I'm gonna say. I rated it 4 stars. It did feel like a little similar to her first book. Really liked her first book, but it felt like there were some similar themes but different aesthetics, if that makes sense. Totally different characters, totally different setting, but same, and that the whole like time gap thing, like the second chance romance kind of vibe. I liked the aesthetics, but the plot twist I felt was predictable. Okay, so the next book I read is King of Wrath, which I'll pop up a photo of. I did not like this book. I don't like to say too much about books that I don't like, just because I'm not trying to come out here and hate on books or authors. I love Ana Huang. I read her entire Twisted series, loved it. Specifically Twisted Hate, so good. So I was really excited to read King of Wrath, and I'd heard so many good things about it, but I just did not like this one. I think it just I didn't vibe with it. The reason I don't have it, I did buy a physical copy, but I was on vacation when I read it, and I didn't want to carry it all the way back to where I live, and so I donated it. Okay, this was my Goodreads review. I found it cliche and lacking the usual banter and build-up that I love in Ana Huang's books. And that pretty much sums it up. Okay, next is Foster, which I rated a 4.75. I liked this book. This book is about a young girl who leaves her family and she stays at the Kinsella's house. And this is set in Ireland. It seems like it's set like kind of a while ago. It's unclear when it's set. There's a lack of details that I think I really appreciated and enjoyed, because it felt more personal because you didn't know her name and because you didn't know, every single tiny thing that went on. It's emotional, it's heartwarming. I think everyone should read this. 4.75, really liked this book. So the next book I read on my Kindle, and I read Flawless. Flawless is about Rhett and Summer, and Rhett is a bull rider, and Summer works for her dad, who's like the manager of Rhett, and basically Rhett has been getting into some trouble. He has been getting in trouble with like his sponsors, his brands, the people he has brand deals with. He's kind of rough around the edges, and his manager, Summer's dad, decides that what he needs is a good babysitter. So basically Summer goes out to quote-unquote babysit Rhett and just keep him in line, they're trying to get his reputation to, be good. They want to keep his sponsors. I thought this book was really good. I rated Flawless 4.5 stars. I loved the main character's character development because it felt like both of them had it. I feel like so often only the girl has character development and the guy is just kind of like there and is a side character in a lot of romances I read. But because this is dual POV, it really feels like you get to know both characters and you get to know their flaws and the things that they're trying to work on themselves and their insecurities, and so you really feel like you get to know them. I really liked the third act conflict. I thought it made a lot of sense. I'm not going to spoil what the conflict is about, but it felt like a very real world problem, and like because of their backgrounds, it made sense that they would, like, that would cause a problem in their relationship. Really liked it. Okay, so next I read Heartless, which is the second book in the Chestnut Spring series. This is between Cade and Willa. Cade is Rhett's brother from the first book, and then Willa is Summer's best friend. Single dad trope. And he's like a ranchman. He works on his ranch with his dad. He's very busy. Cade needs a babysitter for his son Luke for over the summer, and he's turning away everyone. He's all the girls who are applying to be a babysitter, they like him romantically, and it's just causing problems, and he's being very nitpicky. He doesn't want any of these people to babysit his kid, and so Summer suggests Willa. And Willa is a bartender. She bartends at her brother's bar, and she is very, like, flies at the seat of her pants. Like, she's very flexible. She does whatever she wants to do in the moment. So she's like, sure, I'll babysit this kid. She and Cade don't hit it off at the beginning. So the tropes are enemies to lovers, single dad, small town romance, of course. But it was really good. I didn't like this one as much as Flawless, because I think I really enjoyed, like, the bull rider aspect of Flawless. But it was still really good. I rated this a 4.25 stars. And I really liked the kid. I feel like sometimes the kid, like, when people write about kids, they write about them and make them sound either younger or older than they are, like, than they realistically would act, and I don't like that. But I really liked Luke, and I loved Willa and Luke's relationship in Heartless. It was so sweet. The one thing that I didn't like about this is that they pull this trope at the end of Heartless that's just, it felt so out of place, and I was genuinely very flabbergasted when I read it. Which, obviously, no spoilers. I think they tied it off well. Like, the ending made sense, and the ending of the book, like, the trope worked, but it still felt unnecessary, and the trope wasn't my favorite. I only read the first two books in the Chestnut Spring series in June, but I'm definitely planning on finishing that series, maybe July or August, because I really did enjoy it, and I'm very excited about Powerless, which is the third, and then I think Reckless is the fourth. Because the characters in Powerless have been hinted at so much in the first two books that I'm very excited. Alright, next I read She Drives Me Crazy, which this book, okay, I bought this in the UK, and, like, it literally fell apart. Like, genuinely. Like, I can't even donate this. Do you see that? That's crazy. I was reading it, and, like, pages would start falling out. So this was kind of hard to read because of that. But this is about Scotty and Irene. Scotty just went through a really rough breakup, and she's trying to get back at her ex. They're like enemies. But they end up getting in a car, but Scotty and Irene end up getting in a car wreck, like a small fender bender, and they end up having to ride together to school. And Scotty comes up with this idea to fake date Irene to try to get back at her ex and make her ex jealous. It's fake dating trope. It's set in high school. It's kind of enemies to lovers, I suppose. This book wasn't my favorite. I rated it a 2.5 stars. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. I liked the ending. I thought the ending was sweet, and there were definitely some really good messages in this. But I felt like they acted very immature, specifically Scotty. Since it's set in high school, yes, they're high schoolers, they sometimes make bad decisions, but it felt more like very immature. And they were still acting like adults. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't very, I don't know how to explain this. It felt contradicting the actions that they did versus how they acted, if that makes sense. Like, they did a lot of adult things, and yet they like pulled pranks on each other and did like kind of like silly things. And Scotty just seemed like a very immature person. Next up, I reread the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy, which I will link the video to that down below because I did a vlog of me rereading them. So good. I don't have much to say about this because I think I've talked about this book series in a lot of videos. Like any book recommendation video, I've probably mentioned these. 5 stars. Once again, they will always have 5 stars. I re-annotated them. and had a lot of fun with that. And it made me so excited for season 2 of the Summer I Turned Pretty TV show. The trailer came out the other day, and when I tell you, I genuinely almost cried watching the trailer, because Team Conrad girlies, we are in for a roller coaster, and we are in for some tears, and anyone watching, I expect to cry for sure. It's going to be a sad season, but it's going to be good nonetheless, so I'm really excited. So definitely go watch my video rereading these. The last book I read was Happy Place by Emily Henry. Happy Place is about Win and Harriet. They go to this beach house with their friends, maybe not every year, but repeatedly. They have like this big close friend group, and they are engaged. They're engaged. They've been together for like 8 years, and then they break up, and they don't tell anyone. They don't tell their parents. They don't tell their friends, because they know if they tell their friends, it's gonna like break up the friend group. You know, they couldn't go back to being friends after they break up. So they have to fake date. They go on another vacation with their friends, and they have to pretend like they're still together for their friends. And that's kind of the plot line. So it's fake dating. It's kind of second chance romance. It's set at like a little beach house. Everyone loves Emily Henry, but I can't. I keep trying to get on board, and I just can't. Book Lovers was definitely my favorite. I enjoyed Book Lovers, but the rest just, I don't like the way she writes the plotline, which I think a lot of people do like, is that it's not predictable. It's not like third act conflict, oh yeah, this is introductory, this is whatever. It's very, like, the plotline is very all over the place, kind of. Specifically in Happy Place, it felt like the characters just kept going back and forth, back and forth. But I did like the summer vibes. I liked the whole friend group. The whole friend group was really cute and sweet. And it did almost make me cry, because there are some, like, really good lessons, and it definitely describes realistically sort of like the troubles of adult relationships, and balancing your work life, your social life, all those things. I rated it, I don't know if I already told y'all, I rated it a 2.75. Alright guys, those are the 10 books that I read in June. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below your favorite book that you read in June. I'm hoping that July is a good reading month too, and I'll see y'all next time.